So this is going to be two of my very favorite people in the world. It's going to be Ben Shapiro and the Critical Drinker. And they're going to be talking about the Star Wars films. They're going to be ranking the Star Wars films. So this will be interesting. I don't know if I'll profoundly disagree with them, honestly, because I think that I don't know. I don't know what their opinions are about the prequels necessarily. I think that on the sequels, we might not be all that far apart. We might have slightly different reasoning behind it, but let's see what we have here. You know, as a hater of the prequels, it pains me to see stuff from the original trilogy and the prequels just intermingled like that in that edit we just watched. Like, I'm already kind of triggered.
We're here to talk about something light, something frothy with Critical Drinker. Thanks for joining me.
Shouldn't they be like somewhere like tough? Like, not tough, but like, you know, manly. I don't know, like, couldn't you get, like, have this at a bar? I mean, he's the Critical Drinker, you're Ben Shapiro. Like, why are you guys talking in front of some flowery curtains on a sunny day? Like, shouldn't you be, like, in a bar with some, like, neon lights back there or something? Well, I don't know.
Okay, so what's your number one?
It's going to have to be Empire.
Of course, Empire. Okay, so everyone agrees.
Sorry,
Empire.
it's predictable, but...
No, you're right. I mean, there's only one right answer to that particular question.
Ah, yes, the famous objectivity of art. That said, Empire is the best one. They're right. A lot of people have asked me, hey, where do you do your live streams? And the answer to that is that I do live streams called Abandon Hope every Sunday on the Pessimist Productions Patreon. That is linked down below. There is all sorts of other stuff on that Patreon as well. It is about $7 a month, and I think that we offer a pretty generous amount of content in exchange for that membership. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to check out the Patreon link in the description section of this video.
Okay, so what's your number two?
A New Hope.
Okay, I'll agree with that as well.
I would diverge, and I would say Return of the Jedi. I agree that it has more flaws than A New Hope, but I think that, I mean, some of the resolutions to the storylines that we've been, you know, absorbing throughout the first two films are, you know, they come to such terrific resolutions. And I mean, I think the fight in the throne room is epic, and I love seeing the, you know, the thing with Jabba the Hutt, even if it pretty much is a total diversion from the main plot, which, you know, is a big storytelling no-no usually, but they get away with it because it's just such an entertaining sort of scene or setup. I mean, it's like the first 45 minutes of the movie. I can't call it a scene.
Oh. Okay, and it's going to diverge somewhere in here. Okay, number three.
Then it's going to be Return of the Jedi.
Okay, so here I have sort of an internal battle. I love Return of the Jedi. The second half of Revenge of the Sith is great. The first...
No, it's not. No, it's not. You're a piece of shit. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. I'm triggered already. You're wrong. It's not great. There's nothing great in the prequels. You're a moron. People are going to defend Ben Shapiro on this too, because, you know, this prequels, I don't know what happened. At some point in my lifetime, everyone agreed the prequel sucked, and then something happened. Some weird cultural paradigm shift happened, and all of a sudden a bunch of people flipped the script and all of a sudden love the prequels. And I don't know if it's because the sequels came out and now people appreciate the prequels more. I don't know if it's like the prequels memes that have been all over the place that made people appreciate it more, or if it's just like over time people have softened on it or whatever the hell. But like, the prequels fucking suck. Can we just like come back to reason on this? Can we just come back to the understanding and the knowledge that the prequels are not good films? Like, they might be better than the sequel trilogy, but like, better by comparison doesn't mean actually good.
I think that Rogue One is a good piece of content. So I have to decide between those three, and it sort of varies.
I don't like Rogue One either. I think Rogue One was like so many other things that Disney has put out, just completely formulaic. It just seemed like audience tested stuff. Like, you know, let's go ahead and like have an AI write a Star Wars movie. I'm not saying they literally got the AI to do it, but it feels like it could have been. It feels that generic to me. It feels like it has no actual passion behind it. The only thing that's cool in that movie is the scene at the end with Darth Vader that everyone does remember. but like I couldn't tell you the name of the main character of that. I couldn't tell you the name of any character in Rogue One, you know? Like I can name so many characters from the original Star Wars movies. I can't name one character from Rogue One other than the ones that appeared in other Star Wars properties.
Based on the day. So I'm gonna go with Rogue One maybe here in place number 3.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I know why people have a lot of issues with Return of the Jedi, and I certainly do as well. I think we could all have done without those Ewok things. But
yeah, I mean, the Ewoks really are the big stain on part 3. I still think, though, that it's better. I would still put it at my number 2, though. Because, you know, Ewoks notwithstanding, there's so much good in there. And really, the Ewoks are the only thing that's really bad. Like there's other like little things you could like nitpick, but like the only major glaring flaw is the Ewoks.
For me, it's still up there just for all those big emotional payoffs. You know, Luke fighting Vader for the final time, the like climactic battle to destroy the Death Star. There's some incredible stuff there. So for me, it's still up there, but I definitely see why people have issues with it.
Agreed.
And as for Rogue One, sure. I mean, I think we can all probably say it's the best movie that, or the best Disney Star Wars movie that's been made. And that's a pretty low bar, but they made one halfway decent with that. I'll give them that.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I wasn't impressed. I universally think that outside of the original trilogy, I've yet to see a fucking Star Wars movie that I didn't just think was garbage, honestly. I mean, look, Force Awakens, you know, it was basically a remake of A New Hope, and, you know, for what it was, at the time, I thought maybe it was going to lead into something, but knowing that it really led to nothing, I don't really enjoy it. I certainly didn't think the Last Jedi or whatever the fuck. I don't remember even what the other two are called. One was like The Last Jedi, and one was Palpatine's Magic Adventure or something. Those sucked.
Okay, so what's your number 4?
Number 4, it's probably going to be Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Again, there's definitely issues with all of the prequel trilogy, but I think if we're going to, you know, rank them, that's probably the best of the bunch. I think that's where it gets the most mature.
At least he's not some kind of prequel defending fucking idiot on this. Like, he's at least admitting the prequels do suck. So, yeah, I'll give him that much at least. I'll give the critical drinker that.
Definitely like darkest in terms of emotional tone, and you know, that's where we see.
Yeah, I guess if I had to rank the prequel, I mean, I just feel like rank the original 3, and for me, it's like Empire, Jedi, New Hope, boom, that's the 3, and then everything else is just dog shit. Like, I don't even feel like the need to rank them beyond that. Like, dog shit, 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 dog shit. I mean, look at Yoda there. Yoda looks like shit there. Can we just fucking look at Yoda for a second right now and just contemplate the fact that Yoda looks like fucking dog shit right now, like on this screen? Like, if we took the Yoda from fucking Empire Strikes Back and put it next to this Yoda, like, the fucking difference is completely, like, insanely stark. This Yoda sucks.
Okay, so for me, I'll put Return of the Jedi at number 4. So what's your number 5?
That's probably Rogue One for me.
Okay, and for me, it's Revenge of the Sith. So our top 5 are very similar. We're just switching around a few places. Okay, what's number 6 for you? Is there a number 6? Does it exist?
It's not going to be any of the Disney ones. It probably would be Attack of the Clones, I think. Again, you're getting into like...
I mean, Attack of the Clones is some boring shit. I don't know. I feel like... I guess if I was forced, if you're like twisting my arm, I'd probably say Phantom Menace over Attack of the Clones. But it really makes me feel gross, even like splitting hairs on this. It's like trying to pick your favorite turd. I don't know.
The lower tier of Star Wars movies now. But with that one, again, there was some good stuff to be found there. Just a huge amount of problems along the way, and definitely George Lucas shouldn't have directed it. But I like it enough that I would put it at that.
I'm finding that at the end of the day, I don't really have profound disagreements with Critical Drinker's Star Wars takes. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders for Star Wars stuff. I don't really understand the Rogue One love, but whatever. As far as like his evaluations of these films, I don't think he's too far off. I don't understand the Rogue One appreciation, and I think he's given Revenge of the Sith more credit than I would, but generally speaking, he seems to know what's good and what's not in the Star Wars series. So
That's
I agree with you again there. I will say that Count Dooku is the unappreciated hero of the Star Wars universe. Count Dooku is right.
Well, how can you not like Christopher Lee? I mean, his performance is incredible, and yeah, he was manipulated. He was a stooge to some extent, but yeah, he's
also his name was Dooku. I feel like the big problem with Count Dooku is that his name is Dooku, which kind of sounds like Dookie, which I don't know if you know is shit.
And okay, number 7.
Oh, okay. Where do we go from here? It's either going to be the Phantom Menace or possibly Solo. I mean, this is rough now.
I relate to his pain on this. I wouldn't want to make this decision either. Like, being asked to rank these things is painful.
And I'm not highlighting either of these movies as
why would they? It's not a movie. It's a TV special, so there's no reason to rank it
being good. But I'll probably go for Solo. Okay,
I agree with you on that. It has
Never
like
saw
small
it.
moments.
The thing about Solo is that I had seen every Star Wars movie at that point, and I was so disgusted with what I was seeing when I went to see these Star Wars films that when I saw the trailer for Solo, I was just like, you know what? I'm not taking this anymore. I'm no longer going to shell out money to be fucking disappointed like this. So I'm done. I'm done giving you my fucking money just because you put Star Wars on something. You actually are going to have to try a little harder than that. And credit to me, I didn't see it. And that was kind of the first time that I broke out of my little weird fanboy loyalty. Because prior to that, if you slapped Star Wars on a movie, I was there at the fucking movie. And, you know, it took me a long time to learn the lesson, but I did learn it. And I decided, like, I'm not going to see every Star Wars movie. And I didn't see Solo, and I never have, and I never will. I made a determination that I'm never going to watch it, and I refuse to back down from that because it was my protest. My protest of, you're not going to have this stranglehold on me and my money anymore. Just because I loved these 3 classic films growing up. You're no longer going to milk my affinity for those with these shittier and shittier knockoffs.
A little bit to at least hat tip to the original trilogy, which I appreciate. But yeah, I agree with you. Okay, so I think we both are going to put Phantom Menace next. Now we're going to force you into the unenviable position of having to rank the Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars films.
Okay. In terms of the one I hate the least, it's probably going to be The Force Awakens.
I would have said that initially. I think in retrospect, I hate the Rian Johnson one the least, which is probably the one that the critical drinker would hate the most. And I get why. Because it's a total slap in the face to Star Wars. I mean, you know, he doesn't understand the character of Luke Skywalker, or he understands it, but he wants to subvert it. Like, this is a guy that wrote a movie where the good guys basically arranged for the Mona Lisa to be destroyed, right? So this is not a guy that has reverence for like a masterpiece. So as all of us look at Star Wars, or like, I don't know, not all of us, obviously. Some people don't give a shit about Star Wars, but as people who appreciate the original Star Wars trilogy look at Luke Skywalker as this iconic character and shit, and we want to see him treated respectfully, that just makes Rian Johnson giddy to be like, fuck you. I'm going to make him some kind of fucking curmudgeonly fucking douchebag that fucking doesn't give a fuck and drinks like weird alien fucking titty milk. And you're like, yeah, I'm Luke Skywalker, bitch, you know? And it's fucking disrespectful as fuck. But you know what? I admire the fact that it at least has fucking balls, because neither of these J.J. Abrams ones have any balls. I don't think Rian Johnson ever should have been hired to make a Star Wars movie. But at least when I watch his Star Wars movie, I see someone who has a vision for Star Wars. It's not a vision I like or agree with, but it is a vision. J.J. Abrams has no vision for Star Wars. His vision for Star Wars is, I'm gonna remake the original Star Wars, but with a girl. Like, that's garbage. That's dog shit. And then, like, I'm gonna bring back Palpatine. And it's like, that is also garbage and dog shit.
You know, when I
fucking liked Luke Skywalker shit in The Last Jedi. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You want to like it. I'm not going to complain. I get why you'd like it. I think if it was a totally original character that didn't already have like an established sort of history and an established sort of like nature, then I'd buy it. But like the more time passes, the more the idea of like, well, you got to understand, like a lot of time has passed, Luke has changed. But like the trajectory of his change doesn't really make sense. Like no matter how you slice it, Luke Skywalker never would have been in the fucking scenario that the Luke Skywalker in that Last Jedi shit is in. Like anybody who fucking knows the character knows that that's not Luke Skywalker. It never would be Luke Skywalker. Nothing could happen to Luke Skywalker to make him into that. Especially not the cheesy little explanation we're given. So it's not true to the character. That being said, I could see how it's entertaining in and of itself, but like that's really not what I want from Luke Skywalker. Like the whole thing about Luke in the original trilogy, he's not like some badass, ultra masculine, cool hero guy that just is flawless, you know? He's constantly struggling. He constantly is like in over his head. He's constantly worried that he's not good enough and has all these insecurities and doubts about himself and stuff. You know, but he perseveres. That's like his central thing is like, no matter what you throw at him, he perseveres. He fucking grits his teeth. He gets it done. That's like the Luke Skywalker ethos. And this like old Luke that's like, I give up. Fuck this lightsaber. I don't give a shit. Drink some alien titty milk. God damn it. Fucking Yoda. So I don't know. I just don't think it's respectful to the fucking character. But you know, that being said, like if that was where Han Solo had ended up, I would have no complaints because I could see that. I could see his life taking a trajectory where he ends up there. But Luke, that don't make no fucking sense.
But those three movies, TLJ still inspires like a gag reflex in me almost. That was a bad movie. And then The Rise of Skywalker was just a desperate attempt to.
In my opinion, The Rise of Skywalker is like easily the worst one. It's easily the worst one for me because it's incongruent. It has worse than no vision of its own. Like they should have let either J.J. Abrams make his little paint by numbers Star Wars trilogy, or they should have let Rian Johnson make his like, I'm going to subvert every expectation to make my own Star Wars. Because at least either of those would have been some kind of consistent thing. But the fact that Disney let J.J. Abrams do something and then brought Rian Johnson in, who then just throws a monkey wrench in every possible thing he can, and then they bring J.J. Abrams back to try to fix it. I mean, it's like some kind of fucked up game. It's like, hey, I'll write the first chapter of the story, then you write a second chapter where you try to mess everything up, and then I'll try to like haphazardly get it back to where I wanted it to go. And that's just like insane. That's insane to do with a franchise that's this huge and this expensive, to just kind of like play a game of Mad Libs with it. I will never get over how just lunatic crazy that is. They should have had a vision for this from the word go. There should have been like, here's what's going to happen. Here are the major plot points. And it should have just been a matter of finding either a director or three directors that can deliver on that. But instead, it's like they just made it up as they went along, and you had different people making the creative decisions from movie to movie. And so it's just complete and utter mess of a trilogy. And really no film within that trilogy stands out as good in and of itself either. But honestly, the one that comes the closest is the one that's the most insulting to the Star Wars audience, which is The Last Jedi. But it's still awful.
Build something out of the wreckage that Star Wars was. So at least with Force Awakens, there was something there. They could set up something, and I think a really great.
I disagree. There was absolutely nothing there. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. I literally regret it. I mean, say what you want about any of the other Star Wars films that I saw. I never regretted seeing them. About halfway through the Revenge of the whatever the hell it was. I just said I regret ever seeing this. I will never watch this again. I wanted to walk out, but I've never walked out of a movie. I'm kind of proud of the fact that I've never walked out of a movie. So I didn't walk out. I stuck it through. I watched to the very end. But I think that it's probably the most I've ever wanted to just leave a film in disgust. And that film to this day leaves a sour taste in my mouth.
Second movie might have improved our opinion of that film because it did set up a lot of things. It's just the series didn't deliver on it.
So for me, I'll put Rise of Skywalker here specifically because I'm so angry that Force Awakens set up the worst trilogy of all time. And the hype going in, like everyone was very hyped about this. They were bringing back original cast members, and the killing of Han Solo is unforgivable. It's legitimately unforgivable. Like I talked to my kid. My kids I have kids 9, 7, 3, and baby. The top two are huge original Star Wars fans. They've only seen the original trilogy, and they've seen the pre-Disney stuff. They've never seen any of the Disney stuff because I would never scar my children like that. It's just it's not worth it. And when I had to inform my son, he said, "What happens next in the series?" And I said, "Do you want that movie? Didn't happen."
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna. Instead, I'm reading him like the Timothy Zahn novels, where Han lives and Luke gets married and Mara Jade's in them. And they should have just done that. They should have just done all the Thrawn stuff, which now they're trying to do in Ahsoka. They're trying to bring back some of those characters. But the fundamental sin of killing Han Solo because he's a loser divorced dad who drives around in his 1967 Chevy with Chewie at the age of 65 or 70.
Yeah, I did not understand the decision. I mean, I hate to agree with Ben Shapiro again, but when he's right, he's right. I mean, like the fact that they just decided, like, what's Han Solo up to? Well, he's doing the exact same thing he was ever doing. What? Huh? Didn't he like fall in love with Princess Leia at the end of the thing and they were together and she's gonna lead the new government and but he's still just like out there smuggling and shit, wearing the same fucking clothes, still palling around with Chewbacca, like I thought his character kind of had like an arc throughout that original trilogy that would have led him to not just be doing exactly the same fucking thing in his 60s. But whatever, I guess fuck me, I was wrong.
Is really, really quite terrible. And I remember being deeply upset by that, especially because if you grew up like I did with those tapes, and I wore out the VHS on the original Star Wars series. Han is by far the coolest character in the series. In fact, Han in Empire is an example of what I love about movies, which is competent people making good decisions. And even the bad guys are making good decisions in that movie, and the good guys are making good decisions in that movie. And it's just a matter of competent people doing things. And I feel so much of the movies now is reliant on people doing stupid things to get writers out of boxes that they've created for themselves and that are easily escapable. And so when you watch a lot of the new Star Wars movies, you can pick, I mean, I see you do it all the time on your videos, pick plot holes in these things apart so easily because the writing is so damned lazy. And so when I see, that competence attacked to the extent that Han Solo is now an incompetent loser who really doesn't know what he's doing in any way, shape, or form in Force Awakens, then ends up being killed in the most predictable killing in all of the Star Wars universe. It's so deeply upsetting. And for J.J. Abrams, who's the most derivative director working today.
I don't know if he's the most derivative, but, I don't really know what to say. I mean, I kind of agree with these guys about this shit. I mean, I want to fucking draw like some sharp contrast on this media criticism. I mean, I would say other than me not being as triggered by wokeness as they are, we pretty much agree on everything. I also think they're too I mean, if anything, I'm harsher. I think they're too forgiving about the Revenge of the Sith. I think they're way too forgiving of Rogue One. But whatever, that's just where I'm at with it.